The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCmedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, we hear from the candidates for school committee at this week's FRCmedia Forum. Work will begin next week on rehabbing Columbia Street, and ending the stigma of mental illness is the focus of a local candlelight vigil. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, October 9th, 2025. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. 8 of the 10 candidates running for school committee this November were on hand for an FRCmedia candidate forum held Tuesday at Bristol Community College. Incumbents Kevin Aguiar, Colin Dias, and Thomas Corey were joined by challengers Randy Dudek, Emmanuel Moniz, Anna Riley, Chanel Stewart, and John Sylvia for the 90-minute forum. Challengers Mark Malacone and Shiv Thakur were invited but did not attend. The candidates weighed in on such topics as teacher recruitment and the need for the district to create a strategic plan. Here are their thoughts about the effectiveness of student achievement through the administration of the MCAS tests.
MCAS got voted down last year in the election by a wide margin. Parents throughout the Commonwealth realized that MCAS was not a fair assessment of their child's learning. And I couldn't agree more because when you touch a child's creative side, you see something new that's growing out of that child educationally. You cannot just depend on metrics and assessments to judge a child's learning, because I, for one, would never have done well in the MCAS test. I never was a good tester. And there are so many of those examples across the state, I can't even tell you. It's just incredible. I'm sick of hearing MCAS as a metric for graduation requirements, and I'm glad it got voted down last year.
Well, the MCAS, just like the scoring is way too low. We're spending millions of dollars on MCAS and not getting these kids prepared and giving them an opportunity to push and drive to pass these tests. I feel our teachers need more support in that area, and we need to hold people accountable to help and push them forward. And that's how I feel about the MCAS.
MCAS is one measure. It's certainly not the measure of any student specifically, but what it does provide is it provides a teacher, a school, the district, information. It lets us know where students need the most support, how we can make sure we direct attention to those needs, and how we can provide teachers with any professional development that might be required to help support a specific standard, and also whether the curriculum that we have is covering all those standards. If we can look across the test scores for all students in pick a grade in grade 4, and we can identify that on that test there were specific questions that many students were getting incorrectly, that could tell us we have a gap in our curriculum. There's something that we're not doing in our instruction, and students aren't even getting the information they need to be successful. I don't believe MCAS measures any one student. I think it measures how well we're providing the things that the students need to be successful.
I understand why we stopped with the graduation requirement piece of it. I also think that without that graduation requirement piece, that our dropout rate might be better, because a lot of kids were dropping out at that point because they weren't going to graduate anyways, so they were just saying, what's the point of staying in school, so let's just drop out. So I truly believe that our dropout rate will be better. I also think that we should keep doing MCAS though, because I agree that at this point we're not going to teach. The problem was teaching to a test, and that's what everybody's problem was. But I think that it's true, we need to have some type of understanding on what level these kids are at and what they're learning, and that's how we can figure that out, is through some form of a test.
As someone that worked in HR for 40 years, I can tell you that the tests that we have going on, is it really measuring that? Because we had, basically when we bring people on board, they couldn't write, and these are college graduates a lot of times, attorneys sometimes, they couldn't write, and they couldn't interpret regulations. So my thing is we have a test, but we're teaching to a test. And kids, they've got this new form of learning, but what happened before worked. I mean, when you're running into kids that can't read or can't write after 4 years of college, that's scary to me. So are we putting a test out and it's just, this is what it is, but you have no critical thinking skills or anything like that? We need to move toward the future. AI is going to be a big thing in this country in the next couple of years. It already is now, but so we need to start teaching our children how to, at least if you can read, you can pretty much do any job.
So I believe that the MCAS test was based on state standards, and I think we should hold students to the standards. So we get all worked up over the MCAS piece, but in essence, each and every person that I've ever talked to wants to make sure that the DESE, the Department of Education, has state standards that students need to meet in order to get to 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, right through. The problem is we're not getting students to graduate with those skills. Students need to be competent in reading, writing, and math. And quite frankly, we're graduating students that are not competent in those regards. So we need to look at different things. But here we are on the school committee. The school committee has several roles to play. The most major role that we can play in any given year in any school committee across Massachusetts is that we need to hire the best and the brightest for each and every job. And that starts with the top as the superintendent. The academic achievement has been low for many years, and it's still too low.
Obviously, we're looking at the MCAS scores, but there's more than just that. Let's look at our numbers in math, writing, reading across the district. They're terrible. And if you start questioning these things during a school committee meeting this year, the majority would get mad. You hear moaning and groaning, ending school committee meetings early just so we don't discuss issues. That needs to stop. One point that I want to bring up as well is what I hopefully a future administration will do is we need a strategic plan and to make sure that our money is going towards supporting teachers. And that's the bottom line.
I know when the MCAS came up on the ballot and whether or not it should be a requirement or not anymore, teachers, not just in Fall River, but across the Commonwealth, were complaining or at least bringing up the possibility that by taking it away as a graduation requirement, but keeping it in place was going to take away the students' incentive, some of the students' incentive, to really focus on it and, for lack of a better word, care about it as much as they should. Meanwhile, it's still being left as a metric to judge the schools, which, again, everyone who had that fear, they've been proven to be correct. If we are going to keep the MCAS, it should just be one of the metrics we use to grade the schools, not the most overriding one.
The panel was also asked about how to engage parents to become more involved in their child's education.
Parental involvement is very important in anything that a student does, whether it's in school, extracurricular activities, the parents need to be involved. What we as a school have to do is just face the reality that we have a lot of families right now that are struggling. Parents are struggling to even come to school, put in the time to work with their children at home. It's not an ideal situation. So we can't just say, well, we don't need to deal with that. We have to face that reality and then create some programs and policies in order to get them into the school. One of the things that we don't do, I don't believe, is make it welcoming for parents to come into school. The communication sometimes is lacking between the schools and the parents. That doesn't mean in all cases. We have many, many people that do a great job of that. But as a whole school community, both in the school level and the district level, we need to communicate with parents to talk about how they can help, what they can do. One of the things that I was mentioning before about the attendance when it was a non-popular issue, we also have to hold people accountable and parents accountable to getting their students in school.
One issue I wanted to tackle, and I believe it goes a long way, making sure all our meetings are live streamed. Of course, as you know, Mike, when you get more viewership on a Facebook live stream than you do a pre-recorded post. So of course, getting public feedback and public engagement is very important from parents and anyone. We need to make sure our school councils are functional. They're required to be in every single school, and we need to double check on that. We need to make sure we're supporting our PTO organizations, which I take great pride in doing. We need, like Mr. Aguiar said, we need to make sure we have open communication with parents and to make sure we're accessible as well. When we're having different meetings with parents, making sure we have all different live streams and options available if they're not available to come into the school themselves.
I've mentioned a few times, and I'm probably going to mention it a few more times, I really think that in order for the schools to be successful, it needs to be everyone, parents, community, teachers, all need to be equal stakeholders. My experience in the 2 schools my daughters have been in so far have been that parent-square communication has been fairly immediate and also, very frequent. I feel like we are getting updates from the teachers, the principal, pretty quickly. If there's a fire drill, they let us know that it happened, everyone came through and it went fine. I will admit that there are situations, with the diversity of Fall River, it does make it slightly more difficult for some parents to stay involved. I do know it was 2 years ago, my family, I remember, we're out to dinner and I see another communication come from the elementary school at the time. And I was used to communication coming home in 3 languages, but this time I was actually very excited to see this communication also came in a 4th language, and I'm like trying to figure out what it is. I believe it was Haitian Creole, I'm not positive, but it was nice to see a 4th language come out because we're trying to keep all the parents involved.
You heard Mr. Dudek just give a response, and he represents the parents, which I thought was a very apt response. We sponsor school councils, we have PTOs, we have special education parent advisory councils, CPAC, of which Mrs. Stewart leads, and we have the English Language Learners Parent Advisory Council as well. We try to entertain as many parents as possible.
As a parent, we care about how you guys filter everything back to us and how you guys keep us involved and I, like anything, watching school committee meetings and being discouraged by how they are going on and how parents put their input in and don't get the proper answers and everything else. I think things need to change. I think, especially at the school committee level, when they come up to bring their concerns, I think we have to take that to consideration that they are stepping up. They do have concerns, and we have to find find ways of answering them and giving them the comfort and the security of that we're behind whatever issues that they think that they may be bringing up, that we're going to find the proper answers.
As a parent of a high schooler, I do feel that there's a lot of information that comes out. I feel like there's great communication from the high school. So I think when I think about parental involvement, I think it looks different for elementary, middle, and high school. And I would like to see more involvement in the schools, volunteer opportunities for parents. And parents don't always feel comfortable coming into volunteer, so what are some things we could do to make parents comfortable? Little workshops saying, here's what it would look like if you came to our school, here are the expectations, we'd love for you to come in and read to students, or be a part of recess or lunch, or just some supports. Students love to see their parents in school. Most students like to see their parents in school. And so really giving parents the opportunity to be a part of the school in any way they can, whether it's by supporting academics or just being someone there to help play at recess or make sure students are engaged.
So I think that a lot of our parents, the problems with getting them into schools, a lot of our parents don't have cars. So to get them into the school is it's hard. Sometimes it is the time. The schools need to change up the time that they can have it. So if sometimes it could be directly after school, sometimes it could be at 5 o'clock. If they change up the times of some of the events, that could help getting them involved. I also think that, sometimes we also have to remember that the teachers, we're paying the teachers, and teachers, the contract will be there, how it works. But we can pay a program to teach math, for example, to parents, and they can do it on Zoom. We can put it out there. It doesn't have to be live, different things to help parents with reading or, anything that it could be. We just have to put it out there that can have the parents involved. I'm
a product of a single parent home. So my mom worked 2 or 3 jobs. Me and my brother basically after school, latchkey kids back in the 70s. But I think Fall River, from what I've seen, they do a pretty good job. They have like nights at schools where they have activities and stuff like that. So I think they do a good job as best as they can. I belong to 2 nonprofits, my neighborhood association and the Fall River Street Tree Planning Program, and it's very hard to get volunteers now. You know, everybody's busy doing different things. So I think it's a national thing that, you know, we're having issues getting people to do things. And I'll just give an example. I know the Green School, which is my neighborhood school. A few years back, I went to a PTO meeting as part of our neighborhood group, and there was one person there, the president of the PTO. So I'm not sure, you know, how we can change that.
You can watch a replay of the forum and see other videos with the candidates on our special Election 2025 webpage, frmedia.org/election 2025. Join us next Thursday, October 16th, when we hold a forum featuring 2 panels of candidates running for City Council, the first beginning at 6 p.m. and the second at 8 p.m. Then on Tuesday, October 21st, we'll host incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan and challenger Gabriel Boomer Amaral for a mayoral debate beginning at 6:30 p.m. You can watch these forums on Comcast Channel 95, as well as on our FRC Media Facebook and YouTube pages. State police out of the Bristol County District Attorney's Office and Fall River Police are investigating a homicide early Monday morning. Police received a call at approximately 2:15 of a reported stabbing at 57 Chesworth Street. There, they found 53-year-old Luis Xavier Perez Miranda with a stab wound to his chest. He was transported to Charlton Memorial Hospital, where he died a short time later. 48-year-old Robert Hodgson Jr. was arrested and charged with murder. He has pled not guilty to those charges. Fall River police continue their investigation into reports that dozens of vehicles were driving recklessly, street racing, and blocking roadways near the industrial park and Duval Street near Battleship Cove this past weekend. Police say that nearly 200 participants took part in blocking the roadway on Duval Street. 5 individuals were arrested, charged with disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, and conspiracy. Police say the convoy of vehicles originated in Brockton. Governor Maura Healey weighed in on the matter this week, saying this is a nationwide problem that will not be tolerated in Massachusetts.
Fall River, you know, there was a meetup and a couple hundred people there and cars racing, by the way, through a beautiful area, newly refurbished waterfront, you know, that the people of Fall River deserve, quality of life, right? And because they were there was an ambulance that literally was blocked from getting through by those perpetrators, by the people who had gathered. And that ambulance had to go back up onto the highway and around. We have zero tolerance for this in the state. Some of the perpetrators are from Massachusetts. Other perpetrators are coming into Massachusetts. But whether you're in Massachusetts or you think about coming to Massachusetts, you are not welcome to engage in that conduct at any time, in any place, anywhere in this state.
Police are reviewing body-worn camera footage to identify other individuals who might be charged in this case. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Container shop welder. Republic Services, located at 1080 Airport Road, seeks a full-time container shop welder to repair, paint, and perform maintenance to containers and roll-off boxes. Job number 231-75989. Human Service Coordinator. The Department of Developmental Services, located at 1 Government Center, is looking for a full-time human service coordinator to monitor the safety and well-being of assigned individuals. Job number 231-80438. Food Pantry Assistant Intake Specialist. Veterans Association of Bristol County, located at 755 Pine Street, is seeking a full-time Food Pantry Assistant Intake Specialist to assist with the day-to-day operations of the food pantry. Job number 231-77636. Maintenance worker, Ciabra Foods Supermarket, located at 440 Stafford Road, is urgently looking for a full-time maintenance worker. For more information, call 508-679-1021. St. Anne's Hospital, located at 795 Middle Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Nurse Practitioner, job number 231-78915. Food Service Associate, job number 231-79006. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
The City of Fall River next week will begin a years-long project to reconstruct Columbia Street. The work will begin Monday as pavers at crosswalks will be removed and the road patched. Work will proceed into Novemberized sidewalks and will resume in March with paver repair and replacement work in Santa Cristo Square and sidewalks up to South Main Street. Construction is scheduled through the end of next September. The Bristol County chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI, held a candlelight vigil this week to bring awareness to those struggling with mental illness and to remember those who have passed. Chapter President Brenda Venice says the focus of the event is to engage in heartfelt yet direct conversations on the impact mental illness plays within the community and to remove the stigma around it.
It's very important that we talk about it, that we get out there and we let people know it's okay. It's okay, and it's okay to talk about it, because if you talk about it, you get help. You get help. You got to talk about it. Remember the people that we know doing our advocacy. Also, remember the people that have passed. And it's always a good way to come out and promote mental health, because everyone knows it's important. And sometimes it's always a little bit on the back burner sometimes. So it's always good to talk about it, get it out in the open, get the services we need, and then move on.
The ceremony included the reading of names of those in Greater Fall River who died due to mental illness. It also paid tribute to those who are, quote, heroes in the fight, working with NAMI in support of its mission. One of those individuals this year is State Senator Michael Rodrigues, who says more people each day have become aware of the plight of those battling mental illness, but more work needs to be done.
We've come such a long way combating the stigma of mental health. Dealing with the treatment, different options, understanding that one size does not fit all when it comes to treating mental and behavioral health issues. And it's because of folks like Brenda and Augie and all of you that keep up the fight every day, make sure that as we have so many issues that are competing for our attention, for our focus, for our resources, that we keep mental illness, behavioral health on the forefront of our minds and the forefront of what we fight for collectively.
We'll wrap up this edition of FRC Media News after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Solstice, a 2-year-old domestic longhair. He was a stray found in Fall River. He had another cat with him, so we think maybe they were family or just found friends. But that's proof that he's been great with other cats. He's very respectful. He minds his business around the new cats, but the ones that are super friendly, he'll also be friendly with. So he'll fit in pretty much anywhere. He's also still a little bit playful. You know, he's lost that kitten energy to him, but if he sees a ball go rolling across the room, he'll chase it. So he likes to play. He's great with new people. He's very friendly, very sweet. He's not too shy or, hand shy. He's a little shy about being held. That's his only thing. He'll get a little wiggly when you pick him up, but otherwise, he's great with people. He'll probably be great with kids as well. He is also neutered as well. He's neutered, he's microchipped, he's ready to go. If you would like, a new buddy, this might be your guy. If you want to come down and meet Solstice, you can come on down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts. You can call us at 508-677-9154 or visit our website, foreverpaws.com, to see our application.
This is Finley. He's a 5-year-old hound mix. He's around 56 pounds. He's an energetic boy, but he can also be pretty chill. He just needs to get that energy out of him first. He is a hound mix, so he's got quite the nose on him. He's a sweet boy. He has manners. He just can be a little shy sometimes and a little nervous. And again, he's a hound mix, so he has quite a strong nose. He was an owner surrender due to unsuitable accommodations, no fault of his own. He's good on a leash. He just does have a bit of a pull to him because he's trying to smell everything and everyone. He's a little bit shy with strangers, but he's a very sweet boy. So he would do best in a home with a yard and with kids over 12 years old. So if you'd like to come down and meet Finley, he is located at Forever Paws Animal Shelter at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts.
My name is David Perry. I'm the president of the Greater Fall River Food Pantry. And what we do here is we provide food to clients that are in need. We're always trying to get more people involved in what we're doing. And we're trying to concentrate on youth, and it's all about helping people, and that's what we should all be doing, is helping someone. So it's a great opportunity for them to, come down here and give us a couple of hours a week. It's not long, it's 2 hours a day. And once they start volunteering, it's like a family, it really is. So getting these younger people involved, it's just great. It's great to see. It's great to have younger generations seeing what's going on in the real world, as we call it, and helping out.
I've gotten a new outlook on the community. I've been able to see all sides, helped me learn just a lot about Fall River as a whole.
We like to get students in from 14 years of age and older. It's not about the Greater Fall River Community Food Pantry. It's about what the Greater Fall River Community Food Pantry does as an outreach. We want to reach out to the community. Most schools require that the students put in volunteer hours. We're a perfect example of receiving those students, and that way they get their hours accredited, and it gives them a good learning experience.
Volunteering here made you feel good, felt like you were helping out the community, and also it really helped me out with making my application stand out with having volunteer hours on them. Like when I'm applying for jobs, I've been on the hunt right now, and I've done a lot more interviews since I did charity work here. Makes you really stand out, and also just feels good helping out the community.
I love hearing other people's lives, how other people live, other people's families. It's interesting, and I really like to do this work.
Come down and see what it's like. Come down and take an opportunity to help someone else. Come and see what's really happening in the world out there.
That's all for this week's edition of FRC Media News. Visit our website, frmedia.org, for more local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. on Comcast Cable Channel 95, as well as the Fall River HD channel located on Channel 1072. For all of us at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.